Josh Tenorio. While we're on the subject of the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, let's catch up with our friend Nola Hicks, who organized the Black Lives Matter protest on Friday. Good morning, Nola.
Good morning, Chris.
Hi.
Good morning, team.
Good morning.
So I guess let's just start on unpacking the protest, peaceful protest. I saw you also had the chief of police show up. What was that like?
Oh man, it was it was great. I'm really just so thankful for the media showing their support, and just having GPD's chief of police Steve Ignacio there was really nice. But yeah, I mean it was just all peace and positive vibes. I'm really glad that Guam was able to set an example of what a peaceful demonstration slash peaceful protest should look like. That was the main thing. It was like, there were all these worries about, riots and all that other stuff, but really it was a really good turnout. So I appreciate everybody that came out.
Yeah, and I mean, it really looked like it was, I guess you could say, a success. I mean, when we went live down in Agana, and that place was so packed, and we went to Tamuning, also a lot of people, and then of course in Saipan with Tomas Minglonia, who was live there, and even more people. So I guess congratulations.
Thank you, and just to touch a little bit about a lot of the negative the negatives that came out. There was just I'm sure you saw it online. There were a lot of people expressing their dissatisfaction with the fact that Black Lives Matters, all lives matters. Why don't you guys touch base on the local issues that are happening on Guam, the racism against Chukis? I was just blown away at the amount of negativity. Just people just spending so much time, being so comfortable behind their phones and their laptops to express, their dissatisfaction. My response to that was, hey, let's take this negative energy and turn it into something positive and lead the way. You're talking about all these issues that are affecting Guam. Well, it's easy to say it, easier said than done. Why don't you lead the way? So that was just my whole response to that. But just so people know, because a lot of people were like, the difference between the Agana protest and our demonstration, because they were like, well, why do people have to register? What's that all about? I wanted it to be very organized in terms of the social distancing and the facial masks. But a part of the registration was mainly to have people sign off on my waiver, because I didn't want to be liable should anything happen. So as they were registering, they were signing off on a waiver, which they were more than comfortable with doing. But that was it. That was just it. I didn't expect anything from that. But the crazy part about it was these people were so fired up that they were calling me and messaging me on social media asking, what's next? They're like, is that it? Like, what are your plans? Like,
no, I got your email. Right? You got their email.
Yeah, I got their email addresses, and they're like, can we keep in touch? Can we call ourselves a group? So, I was just kind of like, I was thrown back. I was like, wow, I didn't expect this type of positive energy. But this group was, they were fired up. They're like, we want to do more stuff. Let us know what it is that you're going to be doing and how we can help. If you need, logistical assistance or support or donations, give us a call. Let's do more good in the community. So that was like the positive thing that came out of it.
Right.
And I was just so blessed and so grateful that, none of the craziness had happened, but it was just extending that dialogue to these ordinary citizens who just came out to stand in solidarity. And now it's like, okay, what's next?
Right. Well, I know there's another action, I think, planned for Friday.
Yeah, there's one tomorrow. I know they're doing another one tomorrow, and then another one on Friday. And I guess the LGBT group is going to be doing stuff. So it's all positive.
Right.
It's a great thing. I'm glad that the awareness is there, and I'm glad that people are fired up to talk about other issues that are affecting Guam,
Right.
and they're ready to do something about it. So that's great.
Nola, this some were saying that, I mean, aside from the Finogi March, which I think was a couple thousand, I want to say, that this was probably one of the bigger protests and demonstrations that the island has ever seen. What do you think? Because we do have a large activist community here on Guam, and they, they have their stances with decolonization, with the buildup, but we haven't seen the numbers that we had show up to show solidarity with Black Lives Matter. So I guess my question to you was, it kind of seems like the people who would show up to show solidarity with Black Lives Matter would also be, I hate to use the term, woke enough to be invested in other issues that we're facing on the island. So I guess my question is, if how do you kind of corral the support that you got for Black Lives Matter, and then maybe migrate these people and see if they're concerned about other issues that we face here in the territories?
It's so great that you bring that up, because I had the same thought when I saw the hundreds of people, showing up on Saipan. And I, Chris, you've seen the stuff that I do on Saipan. I protest the government all day. I'm very vocal about, corruption. And, and I think that's the biggest problem, which is why, I think this movement is so important, or with, the outcome and the success of this movement is so important, because we want to be able for people to use their voices, to stand up for what they believe in, and that's why, when I was talking to this crowd, I'm like, you can no longer sit comfortably behind your phones and your laptops. If you really want to see the necessary change, you got to get up, you got to get out, you got to stand up. And so, I was looking at it, and I was like, I wish we had this, these large crowds, standing up against corruption, or, standing up against the injustices that are happening within our society. But you know what, Chris? I haven't lost hope. I really feel like this is the start of something great. And based on the positive feedback that I've received from, this 200 and some crowd that came out,
right,
I'm going to allow them to tell me what it is that they want to do. Because if I feel like, I can't do it all. At the same time, I'm just very new to Guam. But if these people, are fired up, I don't want to lose that momentum.
right.
I kind of just want to be like, okay, I'll email the group and be like, what is it that you guys want to do, or what issues do you think are important that we need to raise awareness on, and let's just do it. So I haven't lost hope. I think this is the start of something great. I think you're going to see more activism, and that's exactly what it is that we need. We need more of that.
I think it's interesting, Nola, because you kind of approach this from an organizing standpoint, and anybody who has studied, activism or, different movements, part of it is, believing in what you're standing on the street corner protesting about, but the other part of it is also the organizing, the
Yes,
reaching out, to get in a big block of people who are ready to go at the snap of a finger. And that's what I kind of think has been, other, again, than the Finogi March, because to me that was kind of like the gold standard of decolonization demonstrations. And, I feel like that's something that we've been missing is we have our people in these different movements, but they just don't have the numbers because we haven't really turned the corner on the organizing of it,
Yeah, you gotta I feel like there's just gotta be a lot of education, and that's just it, right? I don't want people, this is not some gimmick, this is not some trend, we're not jumping on the bandwagon. That is not what this is about. And, there was just all this negativity about us, trying to jump on the bandwagon. Do you really know what Black Lives Matters stands for? And that's just it, right? You got to educate yourself. You really got to know what it is that you're standing for. And on my end, just being this organizer, at the end of the day, I wasn't, I can say I'm not perfect. There were a lot of things that I needed to think of, but the main thing for me was health and safety. I needed to make sure that the people showing up, were not going to be harmed in any way. But at the same time, these were the things that were running through my mind. It's like, is there going to be some
a counter protester? There was
exactly.
I saw something about Paul Zerzan. I don't know if you know who he is, but I heard that he had showed up and was kind of getting in people's faces.
Yeah, so those are the things that I was thinking about at the end of the day. Especially, married to somebody who's in law enforcement, you just never know. You just never know who's gonna show up, and
Right.
so
I mean, I was expecting like the Guam chapter of the Hells Angels to show up to
Oh,
protest
man.
the Black Lives Matter.
Oh man,
Uh,
it was a lot, and I shared these resources with the girls that did the Kapua event. I said, I'm having a registration, because they were like, people were asking about your registration form, and I said, girls, this is why I have a registration.
That's what I'm talking about, Nola, the
Waiver.
organizing, right? That's so key.
Yeah.
If you look at any movement, I mean, we can just sit here, complaining to each other all day, but the point is you got to get new bodies,
Yeah,
new people.
totally. And
Yeah.
then, collecting those email addresses and just being able to email them and say thank you. And then those that were just responding, like fired up, like ready to move, and like, Miss Nola, are you going to go to this? Well, we'll meet you there. It was really good. It's really good. And I think this group is going to move forward in a positive direction. We kind of have some projects and ideas that we want to do to be able to contribute to the community. And so you'll be hearing from me again soon. So it's going to be great.
I got to ask you, though, about this abolish police thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh gosh, I saw that. I saw that, and I had a side.
that's kind of like, to me, the wacky side of
It was a
this
nice
argument.
sign, though. I mean, it was on the nice banana leaf, but
It was.
but when I saw it, I was like, wait, what?
What?
I know.
Yeah.
I saw it, and it would be wrong for me to try to discredit her freedom of speech. I mean,
Right,
actually,
right.
we're there,
Mhm.
but it was very concerning, especially with Steve Ignacio there, kind of like
Awkward.
I was like, boss,
Yeah. You're like, Chief, don't go over there. Yeah, don't, just stay over here. Look this way.
and and then
Oh, crazy
the
white
photo-
girls.
the photo just rotated, and people were so upset, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? She's exercising her freedom of speech.
Mhm.
It is what it is. It did not deter our efforts of getting the message that Black Lives Matters. And the music, we had all this music playing, and people were dancing, and just, it was like, people were like, oh, well, look at them, they're celebrating. And it's like, yeah, we're celebrating Black entertainment. I was like, but at the same time, we're bringing awareness to why we're here. So it was really good.
I saw a
That
clip
was
of you
super
on,
fun.
I think it was on I don't know whose Facebook it was, but you were saying something about, where would the world be without black people? Where would the world be without Kobe? Where would the world be without Beyonce?
Oh yeah, Barack Obama.
I mean, talk about casting a wide net.
I was fired up. I was kind of like in my element, and it was just kind of like Bob Marley,
Right.
Martin
Yeah.
Luther King.
Who likes Beyonce? Right on.
It was kind of like, what would the world be?
Yeah.
Here we are as
Who would have built the pyramids?
We're
They
disenfranchised.
should have gone way back, Nola.
The moment was, us being disenfranchised American citizens, not being able to vote.
Right.
It was me basically telling people in the United States, it's like, hey, this is why you need to get up, get out, and vote, because we're standing with you. We agree with a lot of the things that are going on. If you're not going to vote for yourself, vote for us. So that was the message.
Well, it's good to have you on, man. And
Yeah.
good luck. And keep us posted. Right.
Yeah.
Most definitely, and you guys have a great week.
Okay,
You
Nola.
too.
Wash your hands.
All right, take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
9:05. Again, Nola Hicks organizing the one of the Black Lives Matter protests. Of course, there were. I want to say there were 3 last week.
Right, there was the one in Agania there was one at Moses. That's right. There's one at Moses. There was one at Chief Kapoa.
There was
the
also one
at,
Monday. Remember, there was a separate one that was on Monday, and then we had the big one on Friday.
Right. The
yeah.
3 on Friday, and then the one in Saipan, and then there was one on Sunday. The white coat.